Our next speaker is a divine presence of clear creator consciousness. He's here on the planet to assist humanity to clear out all of its egoic conflicts and structures in order to completely marry higher levels with lower levels through transcending magnetics. Let's give a very warm welcome to William Linville. Thank you, William. Hello.
Hello, how are you? Are you guys having a lot of fun with the beautiful Expo of life altering as well as heart opening, arising to the occasion, saying goodbye to the old paradigm, the old energy, the old identifications, and stepping into you. You that is not something to work for. You're already that you are. Now you're allowing the rest of yourself to come up, come forth in every direction, exponentially in front and back, to where you're coming forth into your divine presence. The divine presence that is already you. The divine presence that's always already been there, has always been there. But now, becoming so much more clear, so much more imminent, so much more radiant, and so much more obvious. And that's part of why all the mind, the mental, the mind's your friend, technically. The mind, the body, and you. You're like a threefold, like a trinity. So you have the trinity state, which is you, spirit and soul and form. But now, due to planetary shifts, due to how much you've been welcoming in your higher self, or shall I say, the parts of yourself that are vibrating at a faster frequency in megahertz of light, that's speeding up, opening up, accelerating, amplifying within yourself and through yourself. So right now, you can even, let's just close our eyes for a minute, focus right at your pineal pituitary gland. And let's just take our right hand, could be left, it doesn't really matter, just right on your heart. Or for those that are not feeling themselves right there, let's just put a rock in your pocket. You take it out, and then one in your hand to where you can feel the presence just of the rock or a pin or anything. It could be a piece of glass, it could be your coffee cup, whatever it may be for you personally. Just to bring yourself right here, right now. To even feel the presence in that token we have in our hand, even in our pocket, to where right here, right now, you can start to feel your presence expanding through that object, through the palm of the hand, even through your pocket. The whole pocket one, that's what we use for grounding at times as a tool. We're not connecting with the planet, we're connecting with you. And connecting you with your body to allow for your body to feel you to where you're not in and out, phasing and wavering. It's where you're right here, right now, within and throughout the body principle, to where you can feel your presence. We'll call it your energy, because everything's energy. Even solidified matter is still energy, vibrating at a certain consolidated vibrational frequency to give it the appearance of form. So right now, let's ask our body, as we're just right here, right now, with a rock in our hand or a pen or whatever, even in your pocket, your hand on the heart. Right now, to take a breath, once again, focusing your eyes towards your third eye, with shutting the eyelids, which I call garage doors, because nothing is real until I open up the garage door, then bam, here we are. So right now, just holding that radiance, that resonance, where now, what happens? It's the mind that's your friend. It's a tool for how to function in a body on a planet without walking off cliffs, without, way back when it was first created, called logic, where you wouldn't step under the feet of a dinosaur and become, a little Scooby snack or a Happy Meal for the dinosaur kingdom, especially the T-Rex, the raptors, and so forth and so forth. So now, let's just honor it. Great. I open my peepers. My mind, its job is to survey everything around in the outside world to ensure that it's doing its job, which is keeping your body safe, keeping yourself, I'll call it safe, not that you could ever be unsafe, to where we can size this up, size that up, where we get moving, we get running, we get flowing, we get radiating and amplifying, to where we get more and more in a state of a harmonious, a state of feeling connecting with you, because you're always connected. Otherwise, your heart would stop beating. Your body would fall to the ground, decompose, become elements of the planet again. Which, like the speaker before me, Louisa, was talking about the body being 77% water. Yeah, it's made up of all the elements of the planet. The only thing that's not is yourself. The soul level. Yeah, it's a record keeper, as I call it, from first separation to now, through the karmic lattice work, through karma, dogma, and everything else. Of, okay, we've been there, we've experienced that, we've experienced this. Okay, this over here, we started to speak up, speak out, emanate, express, and whack off with the head or burn at the stake, whatever it may be for you. In that paradigm, stepping into your innate, finite abilities. And where humanity, whether it be Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever, in that time, where others would say, you're different. And do we go through the whole, he's a witch, blah, 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 because it's not that you're a witch, you're playing with energy, you're playing with yourself, you're playing with your universal attributes, your innate, finite abilities. And you expand, you start to play with the elements, at this point, 4 directions, on and on and on. What is it? Rock, wood, water, and then mineral kingdoms as well. So, you're playing with all the elements. You, so divinely, peepers are opening up, your hearts open up, and you start to see, experience a whole different radiance of vibratory levels and frequencies and megahertz of light, of even energy way back when. And now we started playing with it, exploring it, like you are. You're a creator here, incarnate, exploring and experiencing your own creation. That's why we get into the manifestational world. What am I creating? Blah, blah, blah. Why did I create this? Why did I not? Some of it is about you. All of it, technically, is when you take your body here, when you take your body there. Yeah, that's on you with that calling, or in this case, I would say emotion, carnality, to put yourself in a position. Okay, there's a car accident. There's global warming, whatever. Where you and I could step back for a moment, connect with our heart, and look at together absolutely everything going on around and asking ourselves, on one hand, how and why am I in this circumstance? How and why do my relationships that magical, blah, 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 that fall apart? Well, we ask ourselves, okay, what is it within my physicality? What is it technically in the psyche, but more so the subpsyche, that's playing this out, recreating it, reattracting it? And what is it, not so much am I to learn, what is it that I am putting out there that continues this colorful cyclical cycle that plays out and plays out within myself and through myself, within my exponential world as creator, experiencing, expanding upon its creation. Because creator as a whole split itself off to all these gazillion facets, one being you, to expand upon itself, to experience itself, to experience flesh and blood, to experience sensory neurons, to experience colors, vibrational frequencies, and its presence through a form. Because remember, one time you would pop into a body, you would pop out of a body, but it wasn't a human body. It was the animal kingdom coming into the body of a deer, mating with the doe. For the experience, it's not like, you give them a cigarette or afterwards or anything, or take them to a pub. You were experiencing the gender principle, experiencing what it was like within yourself and as yourself to literally procreate within and through all kingdoms. And then, as a collective, coming together and saying, okay, you know what? Now, why don't we create our own vehicles? Being that, at that point, creating the mammalian species. And okay, to create the mammalian species, okay, there's flesh and bones, blah, blah, blah. But now we take another breath. And okay, well, how, when you would pick up a body, you create it, pick it up, run with it, but then it would be a short span. Because remember, at one time, elderly was considered age 20 in the villages. Then it went longer and longer. Now it's somewhere 70, 80, 90, 100. But right then, in that karmic lattice work, you'd pop in, you would experience, you would pop out. And then you decided, okay, you know, how can we maintain, sustain a physical form and multiply? So sure enough, here came the divine feminine. Then there was the divine masculine, and I believe we all know how the plumbing works. We have to stem on the apple, then we have to pour the apple, and you know, all that fun stuff. Now, and it's kind of funny, really, when you really look at it. Oh, ooh la la, I feel a certain presence when I'm in the accompaniment of the divine feminine or the divine masculine. And you feel yourself pulling back. And now this long, big, giant Santa Claus's book of wish list unfolds. Okay, I have to do this. I got to be like that. I got to be like that. I got to be like this. Everyone, I'm supposed to look like Barbie, be like Barbie, or the Ken doll, G.I. Joe, whatever. Until right now, bam, we're snapping out of it. Vibratorily, we're rising above what's considered that to be the mass collective consciousness. So now we're no longer like a peacock showing our feathers. You're coming right back through your heart to that emanation, radiance, benevolence of love, or light beingness, creator consciousness, whatever word best accommodates you. But now we emanate, and now we're welcoming more and more love, marriage of the heart. Many play with divine compliments, which really just means, and same with twin flames, the feminine part of yourself in a different form to where they're going to come in, and now you're going to play with your divine feminine, once again, still within yourself, or your divine masculine, until we wake up from all of that, and we become, I'll call it androgynous on one hand, where we supersede, overcome from the solar plexus down. So we're stepping totally, thoroughly out of survival mechanisms. And we're coming into, I am healthy, whole, and complete in my own right. I'm not male, I'm not female. I just am that I am, or who I am. But now we have who I am as all these beautiful, benevolent facets and particles of light, particles of love, particles of divinitization, that now can emanate so passionately, because once again, as we wake up to this, we become healthy, whole, and complete within ourselves, to where now we're no longer looking for a polar opposite to fill a void within ourselves. To where now we get into superseding mind over matter and transcending magnetics. So right now it's all just take another breath, close the eyes, focus the eyes toward the third eye, or let's just put a rock in our hand again. The rock in the palm, even in your pocket, the pocket one's more for grounding, integration, so your body has something literally to ground with. That's kind of like some of their ones are called the red meat, others turkey, chicken, whatever. But right now, you go there, right here, right now. And we're listening to the body, but sometimes the body wants these elements to ground, to integrate, and supersede all of the exponential world, which also gives the organs a kick, so the organs can function, which, once again, is why the whole universe entirely put all this stuff on the planet for you. Veganism, vegetarianism, carnivorous, that's not the issue. The issue comes with how the animals are being treated, really. That's where it branches off to all this other stuff. But still, the body wants something to integrate with. So right now, let's just let ourselves integrate. And give to all the organs a boost so everything works in its fullest potential, speeding up the vibratory levels, speeding up the digestive process, speeding up the embodiment of more and more energy, but technically more and more light through these different forms of, honoring your body and being able to connect with your body, but you're not the body. So we're not becoming overly identified with it. You have a body, how blessed we are. And now we emanate even further as we have all these tools around us. Now, as we're here with the rock in the hand, let's just take another breath. Let's welcome in more and more of you. And we're closing our eyes, focus our eyes towards the third eye to get the chitter-chatter box out of the way. The mental, emotional, egoic structure that's constantly projecting or internalizing. So right now, we're taking our power back. So right now, let's welcome back all of our power, all of our energy, all of our soul fragmentations right back to us right now. Cleared and purified. To where now, even with the eyes closed, the rock or whatever object is in the palm of your hand on your heart. Either one, we're stepping right out of the whole ideal of fear. Because fear only exists in space and time, past or future. So let's take a breath just right back through our heart. Welcome back all of our energy, all of our power, all of our soul fragmentations cleared and purified right now. The eyes are closed, which we are right now. We have no exponential world stimulation. We have no mass collective thought forms coming in, where the mind is scanning within the energetic field, all the way through the subtle field, all the way through the psyche, sub-psyche, emotional, calibration, lattice work, and the soul level of consciousness. Let's just come right back here, right now, totally out of space and time. And it's kind of cool, because as we do this, yeah, you're going to be aware of thoughts, but right now we're just not biting into them. We're not entertaining them. We're not becoming identified with them. And what's happening right now is they're fleeting away. Because there's no magnetics right now for them to grasp into it. And right now, technically, literally speaking, you right here, right now, you're overcoming, superseding, transcending all the magnetics. Magnetics play with one thought to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, to bam, a perceptual outcome. Now, let's just step out of all that stuff to where we're not even entertaining a thought form. And right here, right now, let's just take another breath, be right here as you, with you. No judgment of the body, no judgment of the mind, no judgment of the soul level, no judgment of the humanity, no judgment, period. Because you're creator here, commanding this to be so, that to be so, that to be so, and you're starting with all those judgments as you're commanding it to be so. Well, it's like one rock, another rock, another rock, another rock, into a flowing river until eventually the river becomes dammed. And then you become internalized. Then all that energy, the combustible energy behind the sub-psyche, perceptual judgments, we'll call them, quote, beliefs, because every belief's a judgment any way you look at it. Now, it gets bigger and bigger, and then eventually the rocks are going to start to crack, and here comes this, what I would call, emotional outburst. It's kind of funny, right? Because I've never heard of anyone having a love breakdown, but a lot of emotional breakdowns. And so from here, let's just be right here, right now, out of space, out of time. Now they're no longer entertaining those thought forms, projections. It's a conscious mind. We can change that. And I'm looking at the positive. I'm going to blah, blah. And that's an awesome beginning, by the way. But the conscious mind is not what affects your world. The subconscious does. That's what affects your ability to create or not create. Cognitively, yeah, brand new, Ferrari home, field of cows, goats, and honey and lemon and all that fun stuff. Now, I'm sorry, milk and honey, but unless you want lemons, you can have that there too. It's your creator. Now from here, where right here, right now, we're getting rid of all the filters, even the soul undercurrent, vows, contracts, and agreements right now. We're stepping back to where we can see them clearer. We can see them now even more and more being put outside of you. So right now, let's all do ourselves a favor. And I bind up, out, and away all entities, energies, thought forms, vows, contracts, and agreements. And I bind all of it, the cause, the reckoning effect of it, including all the fear levels of consciousness, all the misinterpretations, misconnections within the fear levels of consciousness, and all the fogginess, all the phasiness that is within these dear ones. I bind all of it up, out, and away from all four levels, all dimensions, every cell of their body, all memory of it now, as well as all entities, energies, and thought forms, and outside deities and exponential influences. I bind it all up, out, and away from all these dear ones, mind, body, and aura now, from all four levels, all dimensions, every cell of their bodies, all memory of it now. And I command right here, right now, their higher levels, their greater levels, the manifest levels to move into, within, through, and around each one and every one of these dear ones. For their highest best good, for the highest best good of all concerned. And I also command their entourages, the angelic, archangelic, and their host realms that have been surrounding them for millennia. I command that they let their presences be more and more known now that we're no longer preoccupied by the exponential world, exponential dynamics. We're right here, right now. Let's just take another breath in through the nose. For the count of 15, hold for the count of 15 all the way down here, and then exhaling as slow as you can. Because you notice old memories, old identities, old perceptions, old projections. All right, goodbye, 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 goodbye. To where now we go further for the sub-psyche to where we can look at all these literal, as real as right now as they were when they were first decided. Dialogues. You can hear the dialogues going on through the subconscious. And this is part of your beautiful, beautiful divination, purification, openness, and vitality. Coming in, coming forth, and where you're now, welcoming all yourself back to right here, right now, where in turn, your crown chakra level vortexes are able to open, and eventually, what's going on globally, the crown's going to marry with the third eye, marry with the throat, go right through the heart, and then all the way through the solar plexus, critical vortex, root chakra vortex. And before you know it, you'll be aware that you're becoming the vortex of love, the vortex of divinity that you are, because now we no longer have the song and dance playing out where we see this over here. Let's just call it a box. Let's make it a house. Why not? You may see it, but it's kind of cool, right? This is your higher levels, your greater levels, your manifest levels. Your entourage all around you saying, Zane, would you like this? Or that? No pressure. It might be a car vehicle, kind of like a truck. Would you like this? Would you like that? Maybe it's an intimate, loving relationship of the heart, two hearts becoming one, where you have your journey, they have their journey, but nevertheless, the hearts are married to where it's nothing but love. And you're going about your journey, they're going about theirs, but when we come together, it's time stands still, literally. You open up, you expand, not just about appearance, it's more about the presence in which the dear ones right here, through their physical form, are emanating, and emanating. And over here, you are emanating. Then when you come together, we have another emanation called your life stream together, your heart, literally. So let's draw a picture of a heart. Which goes back over to here, two hearts becoming one. Now, we're not picking up on their energy. I want to clear that up real quick. We're not taking on their issues. I want to clear that up real quick. Because when we tune into them, when we look at them, this could be anyone from your family monad, relatives, mom and dad, grandparents, or the humanity. It could be your best friends, camaraderie. Well, the hearts just don't come together. It's not gender specific. That's why so many are running around kind of conflicted of their gender principle, which is kind of awesome if you ask me, because it's like all these lower level from the solar plexus, creator chakra vortex, root chakra vortex, they're all coming up to be revisited as you're coming in to purify, divinitize, and eventually it all becomes right here, right now through your heart. It's not even about a gender specification. It's just kind of conflicted confusion about when I'm with this dear one, I feel so much love, or I feel something I've never felt, which the four-letter word is called love, radiance, benevolence, and you watch how it grows and grows. Over here, my ego has no complaints. My mind cannot comprehend what you're feeling. Because mine, once again, it's focused on when it connects with the egoic structure, which technically is outside of you. The ego bases everything on past, basing it on the past case. This way, it's that way, it's always going to be this way, it's always going to be that way, blah, 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 blah. And then projecting into the future, which starts to, by default, welcome in the repetition of these same scenarios over and over and over again. Until, once again, we hit the wake up button. And you start waking up from the thoughts. So from here, we have, let's just say you, which are technically a lot larger than that. For you as a conglomerate of consciousness integrated as creator in this physical form that gives some eyes, nose, mouth, maybe some hair. Not exactly a perm, looks more like a Billy Idol one. Now, right here we have this thought, that thought, this thought, that thought, thought. Now, is we're right here in married with our higher levels, our higher self. The marriage is not about Judaism. It's not even about Bethlehem. It's about the marriage of the higher merging into the lower until eventually we have this. You marrying with your higher self and all of yourself. Now, as we have that, this thought over here is going to say, hey, remember, the ego says, remember, you're a that. Or a this. Everything's got to work this way, that way, just how I've always known it to work for the ego's survival comfort. Because remember, the ego wants you to perceive itself that it's in charge, it's your master, and it's live deity. Technically, all the conglomerate of energy, when you make a judgment, you project a judgment into whatever you're projecting it into, and you as creator are commanding this to be so, like let there be light, then let there be darkness, whatever. You're commanding it. So therefore, you have the buildup of energy again, until right now where we're at, we're stepping back, decompressing, a deep sigh. And now let's you and I look at absolutely everything in this body, on this planet, outside of you. So here you are now, on top of the planet, in communion with all of you, the whole universe entirely. I better get rid of the house because you'll want to relive Wizard of Oz, house landing on you like that witch. Now, from here, we're letting the whole universe come in. Which I say whole universe, it comes in, it swirls, expands, and then coming back again. Once again, right now, you're totally immune to anyone else's energies, thought forms, blah, blah, blah. Because right now, we're believing nothing. There's nothing that we're believing, which, once again, welcomes you back as a clear, perfect channel of divine love and truth. Now, let's say it is a car. Let's say you're sitting here and you have a contemplation. Not something you're thinking about creating. Let's just let the ideal flow to you and through you. And this is the cool part as creator. Would I enjoy car vehicle? Would I enjoy the invisible house? Would I enjoy the beloved of the heart? Some want world peace, great. So let's be at peace. And let the world be the world. Because the more you're at peace, the more that you're emanating, you are affecting the outcome of the world. Planetary grid systems, cosmic lattice work included, including mass collective thought forms and consciousness. Because you and I, now we're the light in which we are. But we also have a body. Corpuscles of touch, central nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, on and on. But no, we don't have these filters that when this happens, that happens, that's going to be the outcome. So if you run the street, you get hit by a bus, you're going to leave the planet, then pick up another body. Let's throw all that out the window. Because who's to say? Maybe you'll jump over the bus. Maybe you'll run around the bus. Maybe you'll lay down the ground, the bus goes over you. So we got to let go of our projected outcomes. I may get hired to be a janitor. Great. Well, I should be a CEO, blah, blah, says the ego. Who's to say the janitorial positions not an open door for you to get into the business, for your higher levels, your manifest levels, your creator levels, to take it from there. And before you know it, you're the owner or beyond, a CEO, FO, and all the O's. So from here, once again, we, as our own divinitization, are stepping through these doorways. Let's forget about what they look like for a moment. Sometimes you're going to have 10, 20, 30 doorways right in front of you. Let's take a breath. I welcome forth the rest of myself, my higher levels, creator levels, manifest levels. Which door here would be in my highest and best good? Not to go through suffering, learning, blah, blah, blah. More of an escalation of your heart opening to where all the gifts from that doorway, I promise you, are going to present. we're just getting rid of way of the ego and the judgment of the doorway. Like, for a concrete example, I was in San Diego, went for a week in Zion with another couple, and we had a blast. And I remember driving there very specifically. We had just left Roberto's Taco Shop, driving, I think it was the 15, and then going from the 15, I think it's 17 or something like that from there. And then we ended up in Zion. But on that journey, we drove through Las Vegas. It was like, wow, man. It was like a ball of tangled up string, which is no surprise they call a part of the traffic the spaghetti bowl, because I don't like spaghetti. It was like frayed here, frayed there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow. And I was saying to myself, now that I laugh at myself more about it, it's like, wow, how blessed I am to live in San Diego, not Las Vegas. But sure enough, went to Zion, came back to San Diego, got back to work. At that point, it was High Integrity Massage, another company that I had. And sure enough, phone call comes, hey, we would love to have you come to Las Vegas. And I was just sitting there saying, all right, bring it on. My agreement with myself, with my higher levels, the whole universe is, you present the opportunity, I will show up. So it means I'll pick up my body, I will shave it, wash it down, whether it be a car wash, a hose, or a shower. I get out there, I showed up, bam, at the first event ever, there was my angel in the front row, my bride. Now, cognitively and analytically, emotionally, how in heavens would, if I listened to that part, it would have said, well, you got a pumping business right over here, high integrity massage, clearing out the soul, the body, it's every part of the dear one's life streams, conflicts, constructs. But sure enough, oddly enough, once again, my agreement was to walk through that door. And then the second part was, all right, you know what, big guns, help me to love and not to judge, which is kind of a fun one. When you really sit back, on the average, you walk into a room, you gaze around, and on the average, there's about 79.3 judgments you project through the subpsyche when you first walk in a room. On the average day, it goes anywhere from 386 judgments, for some about 2,498 judgments, without even being aware of it, without even being conscious of it. It's all projecting from the subpsyche, which we can call the inner kids or whatever else we want to call it. And right now, let's just send those kids. Let's create a doorway right here, right in her solar plexus. Take another breath. I set all these children free from my subpsyche, emotional calibration, lattice work, and from my body. So now we get back to current age of emotional age of capacity. We're letting all those kids walk out. Let's welcome forth Michael, the Archangelic Realm, Sananda, Kuan Yin, the Mother, and even the Magdalena. And then from there, let's welcome forth Francis, Jermaine, Gabrielle, Ariel, to one by one walk these children home to make a full transition. And also never to return. Because we're letting them make a full transition. So we're no longer here. With all of these dimensional planes of here to there, to there, to there, where these are all emotional age of capacity. Here's my 2-year-old over here. I'm still hung up when the teacher told me my homework wasn't good enough. And way over here when I first decided that I wasn't bright or whatever. So now we're taking all these kids and we're letting them all make a full transition. It is kind of cool because now we're a clear slate. We're now, as a clear, perfect channel of divine love and truth, here you are coming in and expanding out. But yet, we no longer have these hang-ups saying, well, remember this scene, remember that scene, remember blah, 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 blah. No. We're right here now, letting the whole universe come in. Your high levels of creator, those matters levels, and most importantly, the facet of creator that you are, to lift you up now, what I call like a hand of light. Lifting up, it's more about the escalation in the activations of your light bodies, your higher levels, emerging and emerging higher levels, which of course it requires the body to speed up and speed up and speed up vibratorily. It's speeding up, opening up, activating, and amplifying. With more and more, for one, ease and grace. The only part that makes it tough, like overkill detoxes, you're on your back, blah, blah, blah. The only part that makes that part tough, it's all dependent upon how much you're holding on, how much you're buying into the ego thought forms, how much you're buying into creation, what perceivably others are doing when they're doing it, how they're doing it, and for some odd reason, the ego loves to make it about you. Now, it's kind of interesting is what about for a moment? What if nothing's about you for a moment? And it's more of a feeling, right back in your heart with the rock in the hand. Seeing it all exponentially outside of yourself. That's going on, this is going on, this is going on, that's going on, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. And whatever's going on with the country in which you're located in. Where, well, we're all blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not one of them, so I'm not a we all. I am whom, what, it, that I am. Complete particles of light, creator consciousness, animating and experiencing through form. Accelerating. For one, the toughest part is waking up. Wow. It's like whiplash, like a conscious whiplash. What the heck am I doing? Why am I doing it? When am I doing it? Which goes back to COVID. So many being locked away with their perceivable loved ones. To step out of all the preoccupations, to sit there, be there with themselves. To now, not just look at a piece of paper, that's the wife, that's the husband, that's the kid, that's fluffy little or sparky little puppy dog. That's, the car, the house, and that's the job. And on goes like this, like tarry, but also like an iron locomotive plowing through. It's we're right here in our chair, gazing and looking around to be honest with yourself, the integrity within yourself, your true integrity, which is not based on rule books. Integrity for yourself is opening up your heart, looking around you, being true to yourself. Not the ego, but to yourself. Which comes back to either it's fear, feels like fear, or it feels like love. Where we acknowledge, oh, gosh, now I remember this one I've been married to for eons. Now I see, wow, there's that little one. Gosh, where have I been? And it's all been up in the head. So now, let's all take another breath real quick. Let's command the body. Body vibrate faster and faster and faster, or let's ask the body either way. It's your friend. When I say command, it's not demanding, it's not controlling. It's giving the body a pathway to start to expand, exhilarate, speed up, vibratorily, to where the body's innocent part. It's like talking to a 3-year-old. It doesn't know one way from another way, it wants direction. So let's give the body the direction to accelerate, and right now. All right, higher levels, keep me unfolding as quickly as I can handle for my highest best good and for the highest best good of all concerned. Because now we're back to this. In this, we're not hooked into global planetary magnetics. We're not confined by the magnetics. We're not confined like in all these little boxes called the sub-psyche, which technically is the ego. Ego personality, blah, blah, blah. Right now, we're free of magnetics. We're free of beliefs, perceptions. Now, here we are. At the end of the day, I bless this day. It is done. It'll be in the morning. All right, family. Show me all the gifts that day has to offer. Now, family being that of the whole universe. We get out of bed, have a cup of tea, coffee, take a shower, if you so choose, or jump into, the ocean or something. Now, let's be right here, right now again. The job is not about you. The job is what you do. The relationship's not about you. That's another way that we express love to another, and we receive love from another. We're not listening, well, what if this, what if that, blah, blah, blah. No, we're out of all that. To where now we're starting a whole new journey of superseding mind over matter. We're no longer buying into a projected outcome. We're open, we're wide awake, fully alert, receptive, but also emanating so much more light. Because we don't have all this baggage, nor walls, nor castle walls around you. You're no longer feeling like your body's in a sarcophagus, yourself included. And then we start to receive thoughts like, whatever made this equal that, until eventually 2 plus 2 may not equal 4. It's taught, it's a way to function in body on a planet. But then we start going into like the speaker before us, numerology, blah, 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 until you outgrow the mind, the body. You wake up from it to where numbers, zodiacs, whatever, just no longer, I guess I would say, are you magnetically confined to. It's a beautiful tool, and I would say it's a priceless, very important tool. Because at one point, it's helping you understand yourself, why you do what you do when you do it, which in turn has you expand outwardly rather than internalize and constantly listen to the egoic arrogance that says, okay, you're this, you're that, you're that, you're that, nothing's going to work out, blah, 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 blah. And where we start, the light bulbs go on. And we start to say things like, show me, or why not? Because this is where we start to accelerate, vibratorily, within your whole central column, where we go exponentially and playing with all your abilities. If you do Reiki, great, put a choke array on your gas tank. Watch how much further the gas tank goes. If you're feeling blah or numb, great. Let's welcome in the power of the Seiki. Or I'll call it emotional dissolvement. Emotions, remember, if you get confused, feeling is different than emotion. Emotion is based in judgment, circumstances. Like, I'm happy, then the dog dies, now I'm sad. Oh, it came back to life, now I'm happy. And now, wow, it's walking on water, I'm happier. But then the dog may walk off a cliff, thud. That's all emotion. Right now, let's turn the corner to seeing that beautiful being of light that so beautifully, unconditionally came into your life stream to love you, embrace you, and of course, obviously, mutually, where now we get to actually enjoy the beautiful canine right here, your best friend, whatever you want to call it. But now you're able to let its heart come into your heart into its heart, to where now we're walking side by side. And we're not looking back when they do decide to walk off a cliff, saying, well, I would have, could have, should have, blah, 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 blah. No, we're skipping that part. We're cutting and going direct with connecting with the being right there. Same with the manifestation world. What I like of this, what I like of that. Says the universe, sure, sounds great, bring it on, let's go. I've had it happen several times. I was in Hawaii, it was the middle of the night, and the thought presented, would you like a cup of coffee? It's like, sure, thank you guys, let it present. Sure enough, about a half an hour later, if that, there was a knock on the hotel room door. There was a cup of coffee and a beautiful love note. Now that is true for everyone. Now it's just how much are you going to let yourself be loved and be the love that you are. And thank you so much for this brilliant opportunity and all the magical transformations through the Higher Self Expo. So thank you and namaste. Have a blast.